So let me maybe start with a question, if Dr. Brenda, you don't mind me, from a COVID perspective, it's affected everyone, and it's affected people. What are some of the things that technology can do to help, in your opinion?
Well, this is a great question to start with. And what we have seen both with the journal publications as well as in my private practice and in talking to colleagues is that everywhere in the world, we saw an increase in stress, anxiety, and depression. And part of this was because humans are social animals. We need to connect. And one of the beautiful things is that technology has allowed us to keep that connection during COVID. And for some of us that are a little older, that has been Zoom or video conferencing in some aspect. But the younger people are brilliant because they found a way to connect even more and to learn together and to do together. And this was partly in multi-user games. And you may say, well, they were just playing. No, they weren't playing. They were collaborating, they were learning, they were doing strategic, critical thinking. So this allowed them to, number one, escape in a way they hadn't been able to. So they got together with their friends just like they would have done at school. They learned pro-social behaviors. They learned empathy. They learned how to collaborate and to learn together by doing. And this was very, very powerful, especially for the younger generation. So I think we can't say, okay, let's not ever get together again. People love getting together. People are social animals. They want to be together. But it has allowed us to go into worlds and be with our friends and explore things together. There was a brilliant exhibit called Virtual Van Gogh. And it was his painting, Starry Night, which many of you may know. It's one of his famous paintings. And people were able to go into Virtual Van Gogh during COVID, and they were able to explore Van Gogh's painting. And it's exactly what we've seen in therapy over years, is when you go into an immersive video game, when you go into virtual reality, your reality is not my reality. You bring your own pieces, you fill in the pieces of that world, and you create your own reality. So for instance, if you have a fear of flying and I put you into a virtual airplane, you are going to start seeing a flight attendant maybe, or smelling coffee, and maybe I see something totally different. But you give that person the world, that container, and then they build upon it with their own imagination, their own subconscious, their own memories. And so it's a very powerful thing that we've been able to do this with technology during COVID. I think also it's very important. We've done some studies, and this again relates a little bit to COVID. We had a teen smoking world, and we were funded by the National Institute of Drug Abuse, NIH, in the US, to create a world to prevent teen smoking. It was running rampant in the late 90s and early 2000s. And we got together and we had all the subject matter experts. We had the programmers, the computer programmers, the artists, we had the psychologists, the researchers, the doctors, but we were lacking one thing. We were lacking that very important subject matter expert, which were the teen smokers. So we got them all together, held a focus group, and said, you tell us what you think would help your friends to not smoke. And the things they came up with made the world very, very rich. And so I think we need to understand that wisdom is good and knowledge is good and experience is good, but you've got to have that end user involved. And that's one of the powerful things that I think a lot of the young people that are thinking, what do I want to do with my career? They can go into health, they can go into gaming. It's all going to be used together to create some powerful experiences, whether it's training first responders, which we've done, whether it's doing educational tools, which we've done with autistic children and young adults, or whether it's training that phobia person to get over their fears. So I think technology basically has helped us during COVID to expand our worlds beyond just the shelter in place that we're in.
I love that, and particularly the takeaway that we really should be putting humans at the center of thinking our design and looking at it from that perspective, making sure that every stakeholder is involved in the process.